What is up everyone, this is Somnath Gowda from Future Coders. In this video tutorial we are going to be building this completely responsive agency website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Previously we have also built a website using HTML and CSS and JavaScript. If you haven't watched that video, please make sure you watch that video also. You are going to learn lots of things in this video as well as the previous video. So let's see what exactly are we going to be building in this video. As you can see, we have this home section with this navigation, with this cool hover effect, button hover effect. As you can see, if I scroll down, as you can see, we have this navigation, background turns to white, and we have this cool parallax effect, as you can see. Alright, coming up we have about us section with these two columns. We have one for the image, one for the information. Next up we have our services with these hover effects, with these icons. We'll be adding this cool hover effect. And next we have our work section. We'll also be adding this hover effect. Next up we have our contact section. Contact section is going to have this form and this address, this information container, and finally we will be building this colorful footer. As you can see, we'll be adding these hover effects. Alright, let me actually show you our smooth scrolling effect. As you can see, it scrolls smoothly. About section, services, works, and contact section. As I mentioned, this build is going to be completely responsive. Let's right click and hit on inspect. As you can see, this is how it's going to look in the mobile screens. As you can see, if I scroll down, our our header, as you can see, it turns to background to white. We also get this menu icon in the small screens. If I click on this, as you can see, we get this navigation. If I click on this, it navigates throughout our website. Alright, as you can see, it's completely responsive, guys. Let's switch to tablet screens. So this is what we'll be having in tablet screens. This is how it's going to look in the tablet screens. It will switch to two columns, as you can see. And let me switch to laptop screens. In the laptop screens, we'll be having our normal navigation. This looks amazing, right? Completely responsive website, guys. This is what you will be building, and you are going to learn lots of things in this video. Alright guys, this is what we will be building, and coming to the what you will be learning in this video, you will be learning about CSS flexbox, CSS grid, how to add these, how to make this navigation bar responsive, how to add this hover effect, how to add this cool parallax effect, how to add these hover effects as you are already seeing over here, how to add these hover effects, and lots of things, guys. You will be learning lots of things in this video. So guys, before we start building this, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. It actually helps me a lot growing this channel and it actually motivates me. And also don't forget to leave a like on this video for more videos like these. So guys, let's start building this. So guys, let's start building this. As you can see, I have created 3 files, and I have linked our local CSS file as well as my JavaScript file. So before we start building this, we need to make some necessary imports as usual. So let's head over to cdnjs.com and search here for font awesome. I have already searched it. All I have to do is copy this link tag and paste it inside our HTML file over here. I'll be adding comments, so let's add a font awesome CDN comment and paste it right below this. Okay, we'll be using icons from the font awesome CDN. Alright, now let's head over to another import that's going to be ion icons. So in order to use these icons in our website, let's head over to usage. Inside the usage, all you have to do is, for the installation, we need to copy these two script tags and paste them inside our body over here. Let's add comments, ion icons, cdn. Alright, let's paste them over here. So the next import is going to be, we'll be using a custom font from the Google Fonts. So let's head over to Google Fonts, search here for Montserrat. Alright, as you can see, I already imported this. All you have to do is, let me close this. All you have to do is copy the font weights from 100 to 900. Don't copy the italics like this. All you have to do is, I'll show you, like this thin 100. All you have to do is click on this, it will get added here, and once you are done, click on this import and copy this import code. Alright, let's paste it inside our CSS file. As you can see, I already pasted it. Alright, these were all the necessary imports which were needed. So let's start building this. So the first thing which I will be building is the home section. So let's start. I'll be adding comments. So here I will say home section starts, and another comment for saying hey, home section ends. I'll create a section with class name of home and an ID of home. Inside here I will be adding a heading h1 saying your story begins from here, and right below this I will be having a paragraph with lorem 10 words. Alright, next thing I will be having a button here with class name btn, and this button is going to say learn more. Alright, that's it for the home section. Now let's we need to style this. Let me show you what we have in our browser. As you can see, this is what we have in our browser. Alright, let's head over to CSS. So before we actually style our home section, we need to do some necessary cleanup process. So let's select everything. This asterisk symbol means that we are targeting everything. Let's set the font family to the font which we imported, that is Montserrat, and Montserrat, and the fallback font of sans serif. Alright, let's clear out the default margin being applied by the browsers by setting margin 0, padding 0, box sizing to border box, and we are using a button, so let's set the outline to none and border to none. I don't want any text decoration into the links to none, so I will also add a text transform to capitalize, and a final thing is that's going to be a transition to all elements 0.2 seconds linear. Let's see. As you can see, we have cleared out the default margin and padding being applied by the browser and set the font to Montserrat. Alright, next thing we'll be doing is setting some variables, CSS variables. So to declare a CSS variable, we need to add these two dashes. This is the syntax for declaring a CSS variable. The first variable is going to be a black variable, which is going to contain this this hex color 61D. It's going to be a black color. Alright, this one. And for another one, let's say here I'll be using a white variable. Here I'll set the color to white. Alright, the next variable is going to be light color. For this, the x value is going to be 808080. Alright, next variable light background, I'll name it as light PG. I'll set it as F5 F8. Alright, Now I will be using some colors like Google color to set them to those icons. As you might have already seen in the footer, the icons were colorful, right? We actually added these colors. So Google color is going to be this 48, so 4285, yeah, for this color. Next one is going to be Twitter color, and the color is going to be this one. The next color is going to be YouTube color, and we have this hex code to this. Alright, the next color is going to be LinkedIn color, and let's set the value to this. Alright, these are all the CSS variables which we will be using in this project. So the next thing which I'll be doing is targeting the whole HTML. I'll be reducing the base font size to 62.5%. That's because by default 1 rem is equals to 16 pixels. If I set to font size, if I reduce the base font, I'll be setting 1 rem equal to 10 pixels. So that's it will be easy to add the values. So I'll say here font size to 62.5% of the base font. Alright, I'll add overflow X to hidden, scroll behavior smooth. As you might already seen that it scrolls very smoothly, so we have added scroll behavior of smooth. I'll also add a scroll padding top of 6 rems. Alright, will be okay. That's it for these ones. Now let's actually style our home section. For the home section, let's target actual home container, this one. Alright, for the home, I'll set the height to 100 view heights, and we need to set a background image, right? So I will say background linear gradient. I will be using some RGBA, red, green, blue, alpha values. I'll be setting them to 0, 0, and an alpha value of 0.6. There going to be another one, then the RGBA. Let's set it to RGBA 0, 0, 0, and this one is going to be the alpha value is going to be 0.6. Let's say 0.6. Alright, and finally we need to set the URL images. Let's set out images, and I will be using the hero.jpg. Don't worry, you will get these images from my website that will be provided in the description of this video. Alright, now let's set to no repeat so that the background doesn't repeat. Let's check this out, guys. As you can see, we have applied the image. Now we need to actually further style it, so I will say background size cover, not contain, it should be cover, background position to center, background attachment to fixed. These lines of codes is what makes the image, or you call it the parallax effect, guys. If I scroll down, the image is going to stay in the same place. You will see that in a moment. Alright, let's actually align these in center by using flexbox. I'll say display flex, align items to the center, justify content to the center, flex flow will be in column, and let's actually align text to center. As you can see, we have aligned them in center. Now I will be targeting the home and the h1 inside of that. Alright, I will say home h1, font size to let's make it big, 6 rems. Font weight to 400%, sorry, 400 only. Margin to, let's set it as 3 rems to the margin bottom. Text transform to none. Sorry, we are not needing this text transform to none. I need to set the color to this variable white. Alright, let's check this out. As you can see, there we have our heading, or you can say hero text. The next thing which I'll be targeting is the paragraph which we have inside. So here I will say home paragraph. I'll set the font size to 1.7 rems, font weight to 400, margin bottom 3 rems, and text transform to none. By default it was set to capitalize, right? So I will set the text transform to none, color to this variable white. That's it, guys. As you can see, there we have the text. Alright, now let's head over to we need to style the button, right? This button we'll be using many more times, so I will go up here. I will create this button here. Let's set the color to this variable white, font weight to 400, font size to 1.7 rem. I will also set a border of 0.1 rem, solid, this color, white color, and a border radius of 10 rems, padding of 1.5 rem to the top and bottom, and 4 rem to the left and right. There we go. There we have our button. We still need to add an hover effect to this button, so let's add that. Here I will say button hover. Let's add a background. So when we hover on the button, I want the color to background color to change to this black, and the text color to change to this white. Alright, there we have it. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our hover effect. Alright, now we have completed the home section. So next thing we'll be doing is we'll be doing the header section. Alright, let's do it. So before we move on to the header section, we forgot to add some comments in our CSS file. So let's make sure that we add comments throughout our project. Here I will add a home comment indicating that this is where our home styles are. Okay, inside our index.html, on top of this home section, we are going to have our header section. So let's add those comments here. Header section starts, and the comment saying this is where our header section ends. Alright, here I will define a header with a class name of header. Inside this header I will add an anchor tag with the class name of logo. This is going to be our logo. Inside this, let's type agency. We are going to have a span tag. Inside this span tag, I will be writing website, agency website. Okay. Right after this, I'll be adding a icon from the font awesome. That's going to be a menu icon. Which is going to be displayed in the mobile small screen. Right now let's add it and style it, and then remove it and make it appear on the mobile screens. So let's do it. Here I will add an anchor tag with the class name of menu, and this menu is going to have a font awesome class. Here I'll say FAS, FA bars. This is the class names which we should write in order to import that menu icons. Let's hit enter. Alright, let's see. Alright, as you can see, as there is our little tiny menu icon. Alright, right after this we are going to have our navigation. Here I will define nav with the class name of navbar. Inside this navbar we are going to have our navigation links. Here I will add an anchor tag. First one is going to be for the home, and the second one is going to be for the about. Let's copy this and add it here. Alright, and the second one is for services. Let's also add a fourth one, works, and the final one to contact. That's it for our HTML for the header section. Now it's time to for CSS file. Let's see what we have in our browser. As you can see, there we have our header section. Don't worry, I will be making it look nice. So here let's add comments, header. Let's select this header. For that I will set a position of fixed so that it always stays on top. I will say top 0, left 0, and right 0. Let's also add a padding inside 5 rem, 5 rems to the top and bottom, and 9% to the left and right. Let's see what we have here. As you can see, we have the position fixed. Alright. The next thing I will be doing is setting display of flex, align items to the center, and let's also add z index of 100. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our navigation or header section. We need to further style it. I want to style our logo here. Let's do that. I will say here header dot logo. For the logo I will say margin right to the auto so that it pushes everything to the right, font size to 2 rems, and the color of this variable white, font weight to 700. Let's see what do we have. Alright, this is what we have. We need to actually style this span tag which is inside this logo. For the span I will set the font weight to normal. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our nice looking logo. Now it's time to style this, so let's do it. I will say which they are inside navbar, right, this class. So let's target that. I will say header navbar and our anchor tags. I'll set them to font size to 1.7 rem, color to this variable white, margin left 3 rem. Alright, there we have our home section looking nice, right? We also need to style this menu icon. Let's do that, which is inside header and menu. It's going to be this one, guys, which is inside the header and it is having class name menu, right? So here for the menu I will say font size to 2 rems, color to this variable white. Let's see. Alright, there we have our menu, but I don't want to display in the desktop version, right? I want it to display on mobile screen, so let's make that display to none so that it goes away. Alright, that's it for the header section. We will still be we further still need to add some styles to the header section, but we'll do that once we complete the about section. So let's start building about section. So for the about section, let's start adding our HTML. We have completed the header section, we have completed the home section. Right below this home section we are going to have our about section, guys. Alright, about section starts and ends. Here I will define a section with a class name of about and ID of about. Inside this I will be having a box container. We are going to divide this into two columns, so I will define the first box. Inside this first box I will be having a heading. It is going to have a class of heading, and here inside this this is going to say about us. Right after this heading we are going to have a paragraph with lorem 30 words. Alright, there we have lorem 30 words, and similarly another paragraph with lorem 30 words. That's it for this box over here. Alright, let's save it. Okay, as you can see there we have our content. Alright, so that's it for this. Let's add another box here. For this box I'll define an image container. Inside this image I'm going to have an image. The source is going to be images/about.jpg. Alright, now we have all the necessary markups required for the about, and we also forgot something. As you can see we are using section here, right? This section needs to have some padding inside, right? As you can see the content is actually stretching all the way across our website. We need to have some padding like this there, which we have inside our header. And also one more, guys, as you can see this header, as you can see nothing happens, right? This looks ugly, right? Don't worry, we'll fix this right after we finish with about section. So let's fix the first thing, that is adding our section inside CSS. Where we have inside CSS, I need to go on top. Right after the HTML I am going to define a section. This section is going to have padding 5 rem to the top and bottom and 9% to the left and right. That's it. Let's see. As you can see there we have our padding, right? This looks nice, right? Alright, let's start styling our about section now. For the about, let's actually target this image. As you can see it's very big. Let's head over there. Don't forget to add comments. Alright, where we have the image, first let's target the image container, this one, which is inside about box container, this box and image. So here I will say about box container box, and we have image. For this I will set the height to 40 rems. That's it for the image. Let's actually target the image which is inside the image container. For that I will set width to 100%, height to 100%, and object fit to cover so that it maintains its aspect ratio. Let's see. Alright, there we have our image, and now it's time to use CSS grid to divide this into two columns. This whole thing is going to be in one column and this image is going to be in one column. So to do that we need to target this box container which is having these two boxes. We need to turn them into columns, right? So here I will, what did I do? Alright, I did something. Okay, here I will target about and this box container. For this box container we have two boxes inside this, right? So let's activate the grid by saying display grid. I will say grid template columns. I will be using repeat function. Basically this repeat function is going to repeat the same CSS, whatever you are going to define inside this will be repeated for all the columns. I will say out of it, and here I will be using min max. The minimum value is going to be 25 rems and the maximum is going to be 1 fraction. all the elements will try to be a minimum width of 25 rems. If it fails to be 25 rems, it will switch to one fraction, guys. Alright, let's see. We need to save it, right? Okay, let's see what am I doing here. Alright, I forgot to autofit. I misspelled this. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our two columns. So let's also add a gap between them of 2 rems. As you can see, there we have some gap between them. Alright, here I will target inside the box container. I will target the box and this paragraph. I will set the font size to 1.7 rems. There we go. And I will set line height to 1.5 and margin bottom of 1.5 rems. A color of this variable light color. And finally, I don't want the text transform and set it to none. Alright, there we go. We have completed styling the paragraph, but we still need to style our about us, right? For that this heading class will be reused. So I will define at the top here, right after this button, heading font size to 3.5 rems, font weight to 500, and a margin bottom of 5 rems, and text align to center. That's it. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our heading, and we have completed the about section, guys. That's it for the about section, but now it's time to fix our header, as you can see. Alright, let's do that. So to fix our header section, we need to have some kind of class called as active, so that when it scrolls, the background turns to white, right? So let's do that. Let's head over to our CSS, where we have the header here. Right after this, I'm going to define an active class for that. If the header is having an active class, I want the background color to this variable white, and I also need to reduce padding 3 rem to the top and bottom and 9% to the left and right. I also want to add a box shadow to 0, 0.5 rem, 1 rem, and an RGB value of 0, 0, 0, and alpha value of 0.1. Of course, this doesn't work at. We need to actually head over to CSS, and we need to define some JavaScript over here. So here we need to add it when we scroll, right? So here I will select document.onScroll. So when we scroll, this function is going to trigger on the document. I want to compare if window dot scroll y is greater than 0. That means window dot scroll y is going to return a number saying how much we actually scrolled. So if that is greater than 0, that means we scrolled, right? Here I will select document dot query selector. If that is the case, if window dot scroll y is greater than 0, if that is the case, I will select our header by saying document dot query selector header, and I will add a class list dot add. I will add another class that is active. That's it. And I also need to define an else case. If it is not the case, I want to remove our active class. Alright, similarly I also need to do the same for when the page is loaded. Alright, let's see if this works or not. Observe, if I scroll down, as you can see, it works guys. The background is turned to white. Of course, we still need to style it. We need to make the text black. Alright, let's head over to our CSS now. Here I will define right below header.active. Here I will also define, if header is having an active class, I want the logo to have a color of black. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our logo being turned to black. Similarly, for when the header is active, the navbar, all the anchor tags should also be black. As you can see, there we have it. We also have a menu icon, right, which will be displayed in the mobile screens, right? It is not visible yet. Let's make it visible. As you can see, it should also turn to black, right? So similarly, we'll do the same thing over here. When header.active, the menu should also turn to black. Let's see. As you can see, it is also turning to black. Alright, we don't need that yet. Let's display to none. Alright, that's it for fixing our header guys. As you can see, we have fixed the header. So the next thing which we'll be doing is, we have completed the about section, right? Next thing I will be doing is this services section. Let's do it. So let's head over to our index.html. Right after the about section, we are going to have our services section. We'll also have a comment for services ends. Alright, here I will say section dot class name of services and an ID of services. Inside here I will have an heading h1 with a heading saying our services. Right after this, I will be defining a box container, and I will be having 6 boxes, and each row is going to have 3 columns, right? Here I will say box container, and inside the first box, let's define an image. It's going to have an images. Basically, this is the icon, guys. We'll be using these SVGs. Right after this, we are going to have an S3 saying branding, and a paragraph with lorem 20 words. Right, that's it for this box. Let's copy this one more time and paste it. Let's change the image to icon 2. This one is going to say design. Let's copy this and paste it over here. Change this to icon 3, development. Paste it again. Change this to icon 4 and change the text to photography. Paste it again. This one is going to be for the 5th, and support. And finally, the last one, guys, is going to be for icon 6, marketing. Let's save this and check. As you can see, there we have our 6 icons. Alright, let's start styling this. Inside our CSS file, let's add comments, services. So here, let's target the services container, services section. There we have, okay, this one. I want the background to change. So here I will say var light beige. As you can see, we have different background. Alright, now it's time to define our grid. Let's make those columns. Inside the box container, I will activate our grid. this tab by saying display grid. I will define grid, okay, here I will define grid template columns. I will be using repeat function, auto fit, and the min max function 235 rem and 1 fraction. Let's see. Okay, what did I do here? Let's see. Alright, this should be 30 rem, guys. Let's refresh. Alright, let's see what have I made here. Let's check our index.html. Alright, there we go, guys. These boxes should be inside the box container, but as you can see, this box container is actually ending over here and we have these boxes outside. So we need to fix it. Let's copy this, let's cut them and paste them inside here. Alright, now as you can see, there we have those boxes, guys. Actually we are getting 4 columns. Let's see. Okay, alright, let's also add a gap between them. That will fix it. Let's add a gap of 5 rems. Alright, now we have these 3 columns, guys. Let's start styling this. Alright, let's select box. I will set the background to this variable white. Text align to center. Border radius to 1 rem. Padding of 3 rems. Let's see. Alright, there we have it. Let's continue styling it. I'll select the image which is inside the box. Let's add a margin bottom of 2 rems. That is space right below this image. Alright, now let's select the H3, where we have this H3. That's going to be these H3s which is inside these boxes. For the S3, margin bottom of 2 rem, font size to 2 rems. Let's have and check. As you can see, there we have our H3. Now the final thing, that is paragraph. Let's select paragraph. For the paragraph, I will set the font size to 1.5 rems, line height to 2, and a color of this, where we have this light color. As you can see, there we have our about section, the services section. We need to add that hover effect, guys. Alright, let's add that hover effect. So to add that hover effect, we need to say box. When we hover on the box, I want the background to change to this black. As you can see, now we have the black being applied when we hover on it, but these images are not looking nice, and this heading and this paragraph, right? So to do that, so when we hover on the box, I want H3 and our paragraph to have a color of white. Let's see. As you can see, now the paragraphs are actually white, guys. As you can see, the final thing that is left to fix is this image, guys. So to image, it's actually black, right? To turn it into white, we have a filter function in our CSS. So let's use that. When the box is hovered, I want the image to filter to invert to 100%. Let's see. As you can see, now the image is also turning to white. So that's it, guys, for the home section. The next thing which we'll be working on is work section. So let's start working on that. So let's start working on the works section, guys. Inside our index.html, right after our services section, we're going to have our works section, and this is our work section ends. Here I'll define a section with the class name of works and an ID of works. Inside this I'm going to have an h1 with an heading class saying our works. Right up this heading I'm going to have a box container which is going to contain those boxes. Here I'll also define a box. This box is going to have an image, not images, image. Inside this I'm going to have an image, images slash this portfolio one dot image. Inside this image only we are going to have another div with the class name of content. It's going to contain an h3 saying project 1. Alright, this is what we'll be having in each of these boxes. So let's define 5 more of these. Let's copy this, paste it one more time, let's edit it. This is going to be 02 and alright, let's save it. Let's copy the paste this here for the third time, portfolio 3, project 3. Now the fourth time, project 4, portfolio 4 and project 4. Let's go paste this 2 more times, change this to 5th, portfolio 5 and portfolio 6, 5 and 6. There we go. Let's save this and check. As you can see, there we have our work section, but the images are very big. Let's head over to our CSS. Let's add some comments. Works. Alright. So for the works, I will target the works and our box container. Inside this we have the box. Inside this we have the image container. Right. Basically, I am saying we have works, we have box container. Inside this box we have box container, we have box, and inside this we have image container. Right, we are targeting that. For the image I will set the height to 30 rems, overflow to hidden, and also set to position of relative. Now let's actually target the image. Set the width to 100%, height to 100%, object fit to cover. That's it for the image. Now it's time to do our grid magic, guys. I need to target, as you might have already guessed, our box container, which is having all those boxes. We need to turn them into grid. Okay, not okay. For the box container I'll say display of grid template columns, repeat function, auto fit min max of 30 rem and 1 fraction. Let's also add a gap of 5 rem in between them. As you can see, there we have our work section, and we need to add that hover function, guys. Right, so when I hover on it, our project 1 should show. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Here I will select inside the box, in box container we have the box, we have the image, we have the content. Right, for the content here I have already set the parent, which is image, to position relative, and here I will set position to absolute, left 0, right 0, and bottom to 0. As you can see, there we have our project 01. Right, let's continue styling it. I want the text aligned to center, background to this variable black, Color of the text should be this variable white. Let's also add a font size of 1.7 rem, adding inside of 5 rems, z index to 90. Let's see. Right, what mistake did I do? Let's see. Okay, padding should be 2 rems. Alright, this project 01 should appear when I hover on it, right? So let's send it away by saying transform translate y to 100%. So when I hover on the box, the image and this content, when I hover on the box, the content inside should come back. So here I will say transform translate and set it to 0. Let's see if this works. As you can see, it works perfectly, guys, making it this cool hover effect. Alright, now we have completed our home section, our header section, our about section, we have our services section, and we also have our work section, guys. And now we will be working on our contact section. So let's do that. So inside our index.html, right below our work section, we'll be having our contact section. Here I will define a section with class name contact and ID of contact. Inside this, an h1 with a class name of heading saying contact us. Right after this, I will be having a box container as usual, but this one is going to be different, guys. Let me show you. Okay, we have the box container. Inside this we have our box. This box is going to contain h3. The first one is going to be address, and the address is going to be, let me just copy this and paste it. The address is going to be this address. We'll also have an h3 and the h3 email and a paragraph and simple email at gmail.com. Right after this we will have another h3 saying phone, paragraph plus 91, any number you want. We'll have another saying fax, a paragraph, and with fax number you can have any number, guys. Alright, let's add some brackets to make it look nice. Alright, right after this box ends, we'll have a form. For the form, there is not going to be any action. Inside the form, I will be having a div with the class name of input box. Inside this, I will define input of type text and a placeholder text saying your name. We'll have another input saying your number. Right after this input box, we'll have a text area with a placeholder text saying your message. Right after this, we'll have a submit button input with a submit. Alright, I misspelled this input submit, and the value is going to be send message and the class of btn, guys. We are already defined this btn. Right, that's it for our HTML. The one difference is going to be, guys, is for the contact section. Till now we have used grid to make our layouts, right? For this context section, I will be using only Flexbox. So let's see how we can do our contact section using Flexbox only. So here I will say contact. For the contact, for the background is going to be this light background. Let's see. Alright, this background. Alright, now let's target our box container. We used to use grid, right? So here I will use display of flex and flex wrap to wrap. Let's add a gap to 3 REMs. As you can see, now we have 2 columns. You cannot say columns, guys. I don't want to confuse you. When we set to display flex, by default everything comes in a row, right? By setting flex wrap of wrap, if this element is not having enough space to show it here, it will automatically come down. That's the meaning of flex wrap. And this gap, you already know, gap between those elements of 3 rem. Alright, now let's actually select our box. For the box, I will set the width to 30 rem. When I say box, it's going to mean only this box. I have not added this box class to this, right? I'll say box. This width is going to be 30 rem. Okay, that's it for the box, and we need to target the elements inside this. Inside this box we have S3. For the S3, I will set font size to 1.7 rem, margin bottom of 1 rem. Let's see. As you can see, now we have a font size and a margin bottom. Alright, right after this we have a paragraph. Let's also target that. For the paragraph, I will set the font size to 1.5 rem and a color of where this light color, margin bottom of 2 rem. Let's see. Alright, now we have our this box completed. Now we need to target this form. Alright, let's do that. Inside the box container we have the form, right? For the form, I will say flex of 1, 1 and 42 rem. Basically this means flex grow, flex shrink, and this is flex spaces. Minimum is going to stay, it will be staying 42 rem. If it goes below that, it will switch to, it will come down. Alright, okay, I set the box container flex 142 rem. Alright, now inside the form we have input box. That's going to be a class of input box. For the input box, I will say display of flex, also set the flex wrap to wrap, justify content to space between. Let's see. Alright, there we have it. Further, let's style it. Inside the input box we have the input. For the input, I will set the width to 49%. Let's see, as you can see, now we have set the width to 49%. Alright, now let's target our input box input, and we'll also target our text area. I will set a border radius of 5 rems, padding inside 1.2 rem to the top and bottom and 1.8 rem to the left and right, font size of 1.5 rem, color is going to be this black color, and finally a margin outside 0.7 rem, and top and bottom, and 0 to left and right. As you can see, now we have this form, guys. Further, we need to style this text area now. For the text area, let's target that individually. For the text area, I will set the width to 100% so that it takes all the space. Border radius 1 rem. I don't want it to resize, so let's set it to none. Height 225 rem. Let's see. As you can see, now we have this form, guys. One final thing is, guys, this button. As you can see, it doesn't look nice, right? We need to override some default styling which we already applied for the button. So here inside the form we have the button. For the button, I will set a color of var black, background var, let's use white, a border 0.1 rem solid, this var black color, and a margin top of 1 rem. Let's see what we have. As you can see, there we have our button. Let's also add some hover effect to this. For the hover effect, I will set a background var to this black color, and this color, let's also change the color to white. That's it, guys. As you can see, there we have our hover effect. As you can see, now we have the contact section done, guys. Alright, right after this contact section, one final thing, that is going to be our footer section. So let's start adding this. So for the footer, I will be using some icons from the ion icons. Alright, let's start building that. So right after our contact section ends, we will have our footer section. This is where our footer section starts, and this is where our footer section ends. So here I will say define a section with the class name of footer. Inside this footer, we are going to have a logo. Let's define that, a logo with a class name, anchor tag with the class name of logo. It's going to say agency. Alright, let's define a span tag saying website. Alright, let's see what do we have here. Alright, there we have our footer. We need to add some more. Let's add a paragraph with lower 20 words, and right after this paragraph we are going to have a div with the class name of socials. Inside this we are going to have an icons from the ion icons. The way we define our ion icons is ion. If you don't know how to import these icons, I suggest you to head over to ion icons and click on any of those icons. You will get those import codes. I will say name, here I will say logo Google. That's it. That's how we import our ion icons. As you can see, there we have our tiny Google icon. Similarly, we will have Twitter, we will have YouTube, we will have LinkedIn. Let's see. As you can see, there we have all of our icons. That's it for our HTML part. Now it's time for our CSS to do the magic. For the footer here, let's add comments. Let's actually target our footer. Text align to center. Let's see. As you can see, now we have aligned the text to center. The next thing I'll be targeting is logo, that is inside our footer. As you can see, now we have the logo, right? That's what I'm targeting now. I'll set the font size to 2 rems, color to variable this black, font weight to 700. Inside this logo we have the span tag. instead of redefining these styles, we are actually redefining the styles of these. All you can do is you can just go up here where we have our logo, add a logo and add footer logo. Alright, that's also you can do, but let's define them again here. I'll say font weight to normal. That's it. Okay, there we have our logo here. Right after this we have our paragraph. As you can see, we have the paragraph, right? Inside the footer we have the paragraph. For the paragraph I will set margin top to 2 rem, margin bottom to 2 rems, and font size of 1.7 rem and the color of gray. Alright, let's see. As you can see, there we have our footer paragraph, guys. Alright, let's see what else we can do here. As you can see, this text is going all the way across. One thing I can do here is adding sorry for the sound, adding line breaks here, the one here, another one here. As you can see, there we have our breaks, and let's actually check this out. As you can see, now we have this. Alright, let's continue. Now only thing left is these icons. So for the icons, let's head over to CSS. We have footer. Inside these socials we have those icon. I'll set the font size to 2.5 rem, color to var black, and a background of var this light background, a border radius of 50%, padding of 1 rem, a margin of 0.5 rem all around, and finally I will add a cursor to pointer. Let's see. As you can see, there we have our icons, guys. One final thing that is left now is adding hover effects. So let's do that. And as you might already know that we have defined Google color, Twitter color, YouTube color, LinkedIn color, right? It's time to use these. Let's head over to CSS. We have this icon, right? I'll be using nth child method to target each of these. So basically this nth child means I'm targeting this first one, as I'm specifying here. Alright, for this I will set our color to this variable Google color. Let's see what do we have here. As you can see, we have the Google color. Let's also add our hover effect to this. Let's use that. So hover, when I hover on this, I want the background to change to this Google color, and also change the color of the text to white. Let's see. As you can see, now we have this cool hover effect, and we have to do this for the remaining 3 icons. Let's copy this again, change this to the second. We are now targeting the second. That's going to be the Twitter. Let's confirm it. Okay, that's going to be the Twitter. Instead of setting the Google color, I will set the var to this Twitter color, and when I hover on it, the background should turn to Twitter color and the color should turn to white. Let's see. As you can see, now we have the hover effect. Similarly, let's do this for third one, that is YouTube. For the YouTube, let's define the variable YouTube color, and background should turn to YouTube color when I hover on it. And finally, for the fourth one, let's change the var. The final one is LinkedIn color, right? Alright, when I hover on it, the background should turn to LinkedIn color. Let's see. As you can see, now we have completed all these icons and we have completed our footer section, guys. Now it's time to work on adding responsiveness to the build. So let's start adding that. Alright, now it's time to add responsiveness to the build. Right click and hit on inspect to open our responsive menu, responsive console. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look in the laptop screens. As you can see, laptop small screens, not laptop large screens. Alright, this is how it's gonna look. Alright, as you can see, we have unnecessary padding right over here. We need to get rid of that. Alright, I will be selecting breakpoint at 1200 pixels. Let's do that. What I will do is I will bring this Visual Studio Code over here. So here, right after this footer, we are going to have add some media queries. Let's add some comment. Alright, so here I'll say add media, max width 1200. When the max width is 1200 pixels, these styles are going to apply to the screen sizes below 1200 pixels. So here I'll actually target our header first. This header, as you can see, we have this padding, right? I need to get rid of that. I need to reduce that to, I'll reduce that to 2 REMs. As you can see, now we have reduced the padding. Similarly, I need to reduce padding from here over here. To do that, as you already know that, as you can see, we have what is actually happening over here. Alright, we have the header.active class, right? So we need to actually do the same for the active class. Alright, now that fixes. So let's actually fix the section. Let's actually target the section. These all are having they're inside the section, right? So by default we have set the section padding of 5 rem to the top and bottom and 9% to the left and right. Here I will set padding of 3 rem to the top and bottom and 2 rem to the left and right. As you can see, that fixes the issue. As you can see, now we have reduced the padding and it's looking nice, right? Alright, I think I need to reduce this h1. It looks nice, but let's actually reduce it a bit. You can choose to keep it like this, but I want to reduce it. So here I'll say home h1. Basically I'm targeting this where we have this home and this h1. Font size to 5 rem. Alright, now I have reduced it. That fixes the issue, and let's move on to the smaller screens, guys. I will switch to tablet, 768 pixels. As you can see, it still looks nice, but these fonts actually look bigger, right? So what I will do is when I will select another breakpoint, like where we have Visual Studio Code, let's copy this. I will target 991 pixels. I will reduce the base font size to, okay, wrong brackets, I will reduce the base font size to 60%. That will reduce the font size to 60%. Alright, now I will select another breakpoint right over here, that is 768 pixels. But before that, I want to target 450 pixels. That is the small screens. Don't worry about this snapper, I will fix that. Where we have this 425 pixels. Okay, alright, let's target that. I want to reduce our font size at 450 pixels. Here I will say HTML font size to 55%. Alright, now we need to fix this one, guys. As you can see, it's looking very ugly, right? Let's actually add our breakpoint at tablets. When we switch to tablet, we don't want to display this. I want the menu icon to display. So here I will target 768 pixels. When we have the 768 pixels, I want that menu icon to display, which is inside this header and menu, right? This header, and we have the menu. We have set it to display none. Here I will say display to block. As you can see, there we have our menu icon. So for the nav bar here inside the header, and we have the nav bar. For that I will say header.navbar. I will set a position of fixed. From the top it should be 6.4 rem. Alright, there we have it. I will say left to 0, right to 0. Let's also set a background of variable white. I will say display of flex. As you can see, the text is not displaying. That's because the text is also white. So here I will go inside the nav bar and I will select those anchor tags. I will set those colors to variable black. I will remove any margin to 0, font size to 2 rem. Let's also add a margin 2 rem to the top and bottom and 0 to left and right. Alright, let's head over to our nav bar. I will say flex flow to column, text align to center, so that the text align to center. And as you can see, if I click on this, as you can see, this should go away, right? For now, let's actually just do one thing. When I click on this menu should appear. Alright, let's do that. And one more mistake, guys, we need to remove this href from this anchor tag. Alright, now let's do one thing. When I click on this should appear, right? First I need to send this away by saying transform translate. Let's use translate x 100%. Now it's gone, guys. Now it's time for our JavaScript to do the magic, guys. Here first I need to select the navbar, right? Here I will say const navbar document dot query selector. Inside the query selector I'm going to select header navbar. Inside the header I'm selecting the navbar. That's it. Alright, now we have access to the navbar, and one more, guys, we need access to this menu, right? So here I'll say const menu button document dot query selector, which is inside the header, and we have the menu, right? Alright, now we have access to both the, we need to add a dot here. Now we have access to both the navbar and the header. Alright, navbar and the menu button. So for the menu button, this menu button, when I click on this, our menu navbar should appear, right? So here menu button, add event listener, listen for the click. This must be, alright, let's make this big. Alright, listen for the click. When we click, this should fire off a function. This function should add a class list to navbar class list dot toggle. I'll be creating a show class. Don't worry, I'll create it. and this menu button should turn to cross, right? Class list dot toggle, and the font awesome class for the cross button, that is should be FA close. We are going to toggle that. As you can see, if I click on this, this turns to cross button. All right, now we need to define our show class, which we are applying to navbar. So when the navbar has a show class, the navbar should appear. We have sent this away. I'm gonna call this back by saying translate x to 0. As you can see, when I click on this, our menu actually appears, guys, as you can see. So we need to fix some things here, guys. As you can see, if I click on this about, this should go away, right? And I click on this service, this should go away, right? So what we have to do here is, inside our JavaScript, when we scroll, we need to remove the show class. Class list dot remove the show class. As you can see, if I click on this, I click on about, as you can see, it gets removed. Our menu actually goes away. But as you can see, we still have this cross, right? We need to actually toggle that too when I scroll. So here, menu button, I want to remove FA close. So when it scrolls, the icon actually gets to toggle to this menu button. Alright, let's test it. Services, as you can see, it scrolls and our menu button actually appears again. As you can see, our works, our contact. Alright, that's it, guys. We have made it completely responsive. If I switch to mobile last screen, as you can see, it's completely responsive. As you can see, we have this hover effect, this contact section. As you can see, this is how it's gonna look in the laptop screens. If I reduce it to tablet, as you can see, it still looks good, it still looks responsive. Our menu button actually appears. We can navigate through our menu button. If I switch to mobile small screen, as you can see, it's still responsive, guys. Completely responsive. That's it, guys, for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys learned something from this video. Previously we have also built another website. If you haven't checked that out, please make sure you check that out. So that's it, guys. Please make sure you subscribe to our channel, and guys, don't forget to leave a like on this video. I really put a lot of efforts building these websites and teaching you how to build this step by step. So guys, please subscribe to our channel. So guys, that's it. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.